First and foremost, from the perspective of our union, we were very proud of the leadership from our chief, from the commanders of the Madison Police Department, and the leadership from the other police agencies involved. They set the tone very early, establishing a cooperative relationship with the protesters and establishing an open dialogue and open line of communication. And I think that's very key. Having an open line of communication really builds a feeling of mutual respect. That line of communication, from what I can tell as an observer, started at the very top of the police agencies and the top of the protest organizations and extended all the way down to the line officers and the protesters out on the streets. That's very crucial.
So I guess
we had a very unique situation.
I guess every community is different, I guess. I mean, there's really no uniformed way to make sure that things like this don't happen at UC Davis.
Every community is different. I think communication is key. A unique factor in our protests was the fact that we did have a large number of off-duty police officers participating in the protests, and I think that kind of changed the dynamics a little bit as well. I can't tell you how many times we were in the Capitol protesting, my membership and law enforcement officers off duty from throughout the state, when we had teachers and nurses and snowplow drivers come up to us and say, hey, we really take comfort in you being here. At the evening that the governor threatened to forcibly clear the Capitol building, I and other off-duty officers were there with off-duty firefighters to try to keep the People's House open. I had a nurse come up to me in tears, and this woman said to me, I've never protested anything before in my life, and I was terrified to come here. But when I saw you guys here, I understood that nothing terrible was going to happen to me tonight. And I can tell you that sentiment was also expressed by the on-duty officers, seeing their coworkers, their friends among the protesters really kind of set some boundaries, and people knew that things were going to be okay. It's a very complicated issue, Ed, but I know I can only speak to Wisconsin, and here it was a really remarkable time in Wisconsin's history, and a time I think we should be very proud of.
Well, I think the country should be proud of the way you folks have handled it there, and it certainly doesn't have to spiral out of control the way it did in this instance in California. Detective Brian Austin, thanks for your time tonight.